Alright, I want to do a video this morning of a couple things. First off, I'm going to make a muffin and some coffee. I'm going to use a new stove I got for Christmas from Scott at the Lion Den, and I'm going to go ahead and fill that up with alcohol right now. I'm going to try and use it for baking, see how it works with baking. It's a small stove, so it puts off a nice low flame. So I'm going to fill it up. I'm not sure exactly how much alcohol it holds. He gave me this syringe device here with it, so it actually is working really well to fill it up. So I'm going to try and use that, see how many of these syringes it will hold. This will be the second one I've got here. So let's see if it will hold a full 2 or not, or if it just holds 1. This is a Nivea container. I think it's like face cream or something like that. And you get them at like Walgreens or CSV or CVS. Oh, that may have been it. Or did I just squeeze too fast? No, it's still taking it. Okay. Oh, nice splash at the end there. A little fast. Alright, so it took all of that. I'm going to wipe the excess up for right now, just so we can get it through. And I'm going to pull the wick up a little bit, because it said the wick can go up and down a little bit. Scott said the wick can go up and down a little bit. That should be a good starting point for our experiment. I have my new muffin thing that also came from Scott that I wanted to try out. So I'm going to pour it. There's actually a fill line inside here. So I'm going to go ahead and follow that fill line. Fill it to that line. I'm only going to do one muffin this morning. It's just me sitting here. No one else is even up yet, so if they get up, maybe I'll make them one. I'm going to place that directly in the bottom of my baking dish, which is, in this circumstance, is a measuring cup for flour and such forth. Nothing else in there, just that, because it has those offset feet that were so funny looking that I'm going to go ahead and use those as the base. Let's turn that out that way so I can grab it if need be. Get a timer up on the computer here. Start. Guess it would help if I started the wick too, but close enough. Okay. Well, it puts off a nice flame. I like that. So we'll put that 22 minutes on that. See how that does. That pot stand that he made for me as well. Thanks, Scott. I appreciate that. My first test run. And this one over here, while that's going, I haven't trimmed this one down yet, but it will work just fine for the purpose today. We are going to make a cup of coffee. I usually go 1 scoop for a cup, which I think that's a tablespoon scoop, I'm not sure. I have water sitting out here. Do you guys see it? Is it right in front of my face? It's right behind my computer. Alright. I'm just going to do about, I don't know, let's see, a little over 8 ounces there. So, I think I went all the way to 16 ounces, so much for a little over 8 ounces, because I went to the, actually, what is 1 cup? Yeah, 1 cup is 16 ounces, and I went all the way to the cup mark. This is one of my new stoves I just built, and I'm going to talk about this while everything's cooking a little bit, and why it's unique compared to some of my other stoves. It has a couple little unique features that I want to point out. It is a do-it-yourself stove. I made it myself. I didn't buy it online. It does mimic some of the stoves online a little bit. That was the purpose of building it. It was to try and match somebody else's stove. So that fits nicely on my pot stand there. This is actually a little taller than I want it to be. I think I might cut this down a little bit and go a little smaller. I'm a little far away from my flame, or from my base there. Excuse me. Okay, so the timer's going. Coffee's going. We'll keep a close eye on the coffee because we don't want it to start boiling and messing with the coffee. So this stove right here, maybe if I turn a little bit, you can see the inserts and everything. It's homemade, and what makes this stove a little different than some of my other stoves that I've made is the way I've sealed it. I've been making these pipe stoves, that's a flagpole pipe, with the donut wicks and the carbon felt going down the center and the magnetic bottom for a while now, and I've been trying different things like JB Weld and epoxy, high heat epoxy. And what happens is when you bake with them, they have to burn for 22 minutes. And that's a long time for heat to be traveling through those epoxies. That, and on top of that, there is the fact that alcohol eventually eats through JB Weld, or loosens it. It turns it into more of a rubbery substance than the solid substance that it is. So the alcohol gets into it and starts to break it down, and doesn't really break it apart, but turns it into a rubbery substance, lets it expand and contract. So what was the problem I was having was at the base, where the magnet attached to the pole, it would expand and contract, and it would become a rubbery substance. And that magnet is a very shiny metal, a steel, very polished steel, and they would break apart. And I've had this happen on every one I've done like this over time. Eventually the JB Weld would break apart, and the epoxy, although it's high heat, it does not handle the high heat like it says it will. It literally breaks apart. It melts down almost and becomes a gluey substance after it gets too hot. It doesn't get solider, it gets softer. Maybe it's just the epoxy I have. So what I decided to do was to try and find a way to seal the bottom. 1 second, the dog wants out. I'll be right back. So I took the base and tried to figure out a way to seal the base of the aluminum pipe without using an epoxy. And that was pretty important because I was tired of them popping apart. Every stove I built would just pop apart after, 10, 15 uses, 20 uses, it just come apart. And I was getting sick of that, so I wanted to find something new. The epoxy was good on the top for the most part, but not on the bottom. So what I did was, I went to Harbor Freight and I found these aluminum weld sticks. I don't have any up here. Maybe I'll take a picture and show you what they are. I found these aluminum weld sticks, and I was able to do an aluminum weld inside of the pole here. And I put a washer, a steel washer in there. And there I go, I can hear it simmering now. That's perfect, that's exactly what I want. Nice quiet simmer. That'll work. So anyways, that's how I've sealed my bottom, and that's how now I'm attaching the bases to them, so they're not going to come apart ever. It's not vacuum tight down there where the gap is, because if it were vacuum tight you'd have a chance of it exploding if you had a vacuum. It's just a touching seal. I think you could even see on this one there's a little bit of an air gap there still, which won't hurt anything because it's not really any fluid in there. The fluid's all above that. Now, all that said, on the top I attach a disc around the outside of this tube. And then currently what I am using is JB Weld along the top rim right there. And I don't know if I can show you that while this is burning, but you can see there is JB Weld inside there. And it will get soft, and it will get hard, and it will get soft, and it will get hard. And that's not a big deal up there, because this top rim is actually held in place because it is such a tight fit to the outer side of this pipe. Now, that being said, if you don't JB Weld that top, what happens is alcohol can go through the minutest little cracks and drip. And when you fill these stoves, you're filling from the bottom up. And the first thing the fluid goes to is the first open hole. So if it comes up top here and runs over the top, it's going to hit your wick for the most part. But as soon as it drips over that edge, if there's any kind of crack, even the smallest little crack along that disc and the edge, it will find its way through there and run down the side of your tube. I know that because when I put this on here, I had a little hole back here in the back before I JB welded it, and it kept dripping. So I went ahead and JB welded it. Anyways, the coffee is done. I'm going to swirl it around, get the grounds down to the bottom maybe. Okay, that's swirling. We're just going to leave it on this thing a little bit. We got about 5 more minutes, but I want to real quick do a shout out to, I'm trying to get it right this time, Trailhound. Trailhound told me where to get the nipples and hose. I had the hose downstairs, I didn't bring that up. The nipples and hose for the stoves for a little bit cheaper. They're, I guess, brass. They come with a washer. That's nice. I've ordered them before and didn't get a washer, and then had to go out and buy a washer. They also come with another little piece here that I'm not even sure what it's for. A little flange. I'm guessing that's for the hose maybe or something. I don't know. But I didn't use the flange. So I got a pack of 10 for $7 and 40 some odd cents. And then I also ordered some hose, some microline. The stuff you see here, I ordered 25 feet of it. It's funny, I ordered 25 feet of it, and it costed $10 and something, $10.70 some odd cents. And then they shipped 35 feet. So I guess they're just, you know, always be safe by going a little bit on the overside. That way people can't call and say, hey, I ordered 25 feet and you only gave me 24 3/4 feet. So I guess if they go a little over, they don't lose a whole lot of money, and it's good business method. So now I have 35 feet of the microline. And I bought 2 packs of those nipples, brass nipples. So now I have 20 of those, and I use 2 for each stove that I make. So I potentially can make, well, 10 stoves out of that batch. But that was pretty cheap, so I could always order more from there. I like that. And that was, again, McMaster Car. And maybe I'll put in the comments down below the part numbers that he gave me as well, since he sent me the part numbers. I appreciate that, Trailhound. Thank you. Oh, there's my time. Let's see. I know we were out for a second or two, so it may be worth taking a look at here. But oh, that looks awesome. That looks awesome. Let me bring the camera in. I can't bring up the rows. Excuse me. I'm not 100% sure that it's done yet. It hasn't really browned all the way, but nonetheless. Look at that. That looks awesome. I'm going to give it just another minute or two. I think we may have been off for a little while. So there's that. I'm going to grab some cream and sugar, and I'll be right back. Alright, I went ahead and blew that out, and got my cream and sugar. Now, cream and sugar is a luxury when I go camping. I don't always take cream and sugar. I do drink black coffee sometimes, so it doesn't bother me not to have it. But to carry it seems a little bit wasteful since it is a bit extra. I'm just giving this a few minutes to cool off. While I do that, I want to take a look at the stove. Boy, it's cooled off already. I just blew that out a little bit ago. I like that. I'm not sure how far up this wick can extend, Scott, so I didn't want to pull it out. But I'm not sure if it's like just a swirled line of felt, or if it's just one piece of felt in the center and a bunch around the outside. I think he mentioned to me in an email. I'll have to check with him. Yeah, I may give you a call, Scott, too, because I wanted to find out how that is and how far I can pull that up, so I don't pull it out too far on accident. I'm going to show you guys this while I'm at it. I did JB weld in there. You can see there's JB weld there, so that's where the JB weld is. But the base is just a bolt in the nut. And I always put one of these bushing washers on here. I don't know why, I just do. I guess because the magnets are so strong. I can't even get it off right now. So there's this bushing washer I added on here. These magnets are super strong. I don't know if you guys have ever used any of these. If you don't put some washer on the base of it and you put it down on a piece of metal, I mean, this is easy to pull up. It's strong enough to where it's not going to jump off. But if you don't put that washer on there, I mean, you can see what I'm saying, how hard it is to push that washer around. It just isn't moving. Although, that seems a lot harder than usual. Could be that the epoxy they used to glue in the magnet has actually melted and dripped down onto my washer. Another good reason to have the washer on there. Now it's permanent. So, nonetheless, that's plenty. So if you're moving this around, you know, you gotta move that whole stove. You're not moving that over, and it's not gonna tip. Oops, I dropped. Have you ever done that? It rolls off the table, and it brings the whole stove off the table with it. Well, it's not gonna do that anymore. All right, well, let's go ahead and get that muffin out and see how it looks. Ooh, it's just steaming up a storm in there. Okay, let's see how the feet did. Pretty good. One little mark right there, but nothing major. And I think it'll probably just scrape right off. Yep. Hot, 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 hot. Okay, should have let it cool for a second. Don't need to. It popped right out. Okay. There's my mini muffin. Hot, hot. That's my muffin. That is hot. I really should have something to set that on. Now I want to show you a comparison. This is from Scott, the Lion's Den on YouTube, and these are the ones I bought from the store. So there's a pretty good size difference there as far as what size muffin you'll get. I didn't bake a muffin in this today, but just to show you the size difference. So, but pretty cool nonetheless. I didn't have to carry anything extra to put underneath of it. If I had put this directly on the base, then the bottom of my muffin would burn. That's why I have to use a piece of carbon felt underneath of these. That worked out perfect, and that is the perfect amount for a breakfast. I like it. Thank you. Thumbs up. Alright. Well, that's all we got for this video. Y'all take care. I'm going to probably shorten this a little bit. We'll see how it goes. It's a little long. But thanks for watching.